Hi, this is Brian Medway, and we're doing standalone sections of the Bible. Here's my deal. The Bible is the way for us to connect with God, to receive revelation, to hear what God has said. Jesus said on one occasion, man should not live by bread alone. Deuteronomy 4 and Matthew 4. Man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. And so our challenge is to hear from God, connect with God, respond to God, and then go in obedient faith to do whatever God says based on the revelation. So I'm saying that the most readily accessible form of revelation comes when we take the Bible as it was just given, as it rolled out, as it were. The Bible is a whole bunch of stories, and some of those have different sections in them, and I'm saying that the best thing to do is to read every section and get let the section content interpret its own content. So the context, that is. And so I've done a chapter of Mark's Gospel, the narrative of the life of Jesus, and I did chapter 1 of Philippians, which is a New Testament letter where we're talking about the beginning, the middle, and the end of an issue or topic. And then now we're going to talk about Jeremiah, and I want to go to Jerry. There we are, and I've got Jerry happening there. And so I'm going to go through this now with you, and we're looking for a section that would be a standalone section. By standalone, I don't mean, that's the only bit. I mean, it stands on its own. That is, it isn't part of another story. It's part of a big story, but it is a little, it's like a wiki page, part of Wikipedia, many, many pages, all part of Wikipedia. So that's why I want to do it with these different parts of the Bible, so you can get a section and hear from God, and then move to the next section, hear from God. Okay, so let's just read this. The words of Jeremiah. Get your own Bible out, and you can go through Jeremiah chapter 1 and do your own if you like, and then you can compare with mine, and you might be wrong, and I might be right. You might be right, and I might be wrong. The issue isn't so much hard and fast. The issue is figuring out what's going on, what's being said, and where the sections are. So let's go, and you can stop the tape now if you want and have your own go, and then we can talk about what you've done or in the context of what I've done. So let's go. The words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, the priest of Anathoth, in the territory of Benjamin. The word of the Lord came to him in the 13th year of Josiah. There we go, a bit bigger. Son of and the reign. So this is just telling the time. Okay, so the first break we get in this is after verse 3, because it says, the word of the Lord came to me saying. So the first one is an introduction, so I'm going to treat that as one little section, and then we have the word of the Lord came. So this is a narrative. He's telling a story. He's telling a story. And one day God spoke to him, and he wrote down what God said. Before, alas, sovereign Lord, I said, this is a conversation. He records the conversation he has with God. The Lord reached out, touched his hand, touched my mouth. Amazing. I put my words in your mouth. See, today I'm going to appoint you. This is verse 10. Over nations, kingdoms, etc. Still the one thing. And then at the end of 10, we have a break, because that's one experience of revelation. So there's one little bit of revelation. So if I were going to hear from God and be reading Jeremiah, I would take 4 to 9 as a section and just let 4 to 9 speak to me, and then move to the next one, let that speak to me. So it's not religious, it's not devotional, it's actually relational. That's the deal. So the word of the Lord came to me again. What do you see? This is another occasion, another day. He's telling a story. On another day, the word of the Lord came to me. And God said, what do you see, Jeremiah? The Lord said to me, the word of the Lord came to me again. What do you see? Well, now we don't know whether that's the same time or another time. So when in doubt, have a guess. You can treat this as it's definitely a separate revelation, whether it's at the same time or not. And once again, I'm going to separate this because there's my emails coming on. The word of the Lord came to me again. What do you see? This is about something else. I'm going to summon and their kings and their thrones and the incense and so forth. Get yourself ready, stand up, and fight. So that's the last one. So if I were going to go and have a look at Jeremiah chapter 1, we have the introduction, which gives us information. That's important. It's all part of the revelatory process. Then we have the first prophetic revelation that God gave to Jeremiah. We might say it's his calling. Then we have Jeremiah seeing a vision, God saying, what do you see? And then another vision, what do you see? And then we get to the end of the chapter. So in that first chapter, I think there are 4 sections. There's the introduction to the whole book, what this whole book is about. It's about prophecies given to Jeremiah. Then we have the first prophecy, which is a call, the second, which is a vision, and the third, which is a vision. So that's how we should understand it. I'm going to say some things about getting the revelation from this information. The Bible gives us information, but it's actually an experience of the heart of God. So God will speak to you. The Holy Spirit will. It's word and spirit. And so I want you to be able to just get the section and look at the section, allow the section to interpret its own meaning. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if you follow that through, you'll be able to figure out what each of the parts mean, because it's actually telling you a little story. And I want you to get this. The message is the story, and the story is the message. And when you get the message from heaven, then you've got something to go and obey and fulfill by faith, and God will show up and do what he says he'll do. So just wonderful.